I begin, let me put you in a hot seat. How many of you here can think of a nursery rhyme about stars? Show of hands, please. Curious. Now, what rhyme came to your mind first? I thought so. And the winner is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are. We have all sung these words. As children, we sang them without thinking much about them. But hidden inside that simple rhyme is something powerful. It's not really about a star. It's about wonder. It's about curiosity. It's about a question. How I wonder what you are. As children, we were question machines. We troubled our parents all the time with questions like, why is the sky blue? Why do birds fly? Why does the moon follow our car? But somewhere along the way, as we grew up, we stopped asking questions. And that brings me to the lens I want to challenge today. Think back to any evening. You're sitting with a textbook open, highlighter in hand, reading the same paragraph over and over. Not because you're curious, not because it's fascinating, but because it's going to be on the test tomorrow. So, you memorize it, just enough to survive tomorrow, just enough to forget it by Friday. Take physics, for example. When we studied projectile motion, I could solve all the problems in the textbook. Challenge me. Give me an angle. Give me a velocity. Give me a height. I could confidently calculate exactly where that ball would land. But right now, in this space, if I were to throw this ball, could I actually calculate exactly where it would land? Honestly, no. I knew the equations, but I didn't understand the phenomenon. I had learned the language of physics without truly understanding it. And the scary part, I was still getting full marks. That moment made me realize something uncomfortable. The system can tell you that you understand, even when deep down you know you don't. And that happens when you stop asking why. In fact, let's test that right now. Before this talk began, I placed this envelope here on stage. I need a volunteer. What's your name? Okay, Rishi. Can you think of a number from 1 to 10 and say it out loud?
Number 7.
Alright. Can you open the envelope and show it? Thank you, Rishi. Now, something curious is happening in this room. You're all trying to figure out how I did it. You're investigating. You're forming theories. You're looking for explanations. In other words, you're thinking like scientists. You're doing what some of us slowly stopped doing in classrooms. So, I decided to test an idea. What if we created a space where questions mattered as much as answers? Not another competition, not another exam preparation session, just a place where students could bring questions that they were genuinely curious about. So, we started the Thinking Club. A few students joined at first, then a few more. Every week, students brought questions that had nothing to do with the syllabus. Questions like, why do we dream? Why does music affect our emotions? Why does a ball move the way our physics textbook says it does? The goal wasn't to find answers quickly. The goal was to debate, to investigate, and to challenge assumptions. And then, something unexpected happened. Students who participated became more engaged in classroom discussions. Concepts began to feel more clear. Subjects stopped feeling like isolated chapters and could be connected to the real world. Curiosity was no longer competing with learning. It was driving it. I remember one student who rarely spoke in class. He approached us one day and came with a question. Why does music affect our emotions? That one question led us into neuroscience, into the physics of sound waves, and into different cultures. By the end of the year, he was teaching us. That student went on to top his music theory exam. Not because he revised harder, but because he finally cared why. When students understood the why, remembering the what became easier. And the best part, our Thinking Club slowly transformed from an informal student initiative into a recognized practice within our gifted and talented program in our class. That shows how a bunch of curious students can eventually become a culture. That taught me something important. Curiosity is not a distraction from learning. Curiosity is learning. Think about what you do when nobody is watching you. You spend hours watching videos on black holes, psychology, music, history, or something random. Not because someone is going to test you on it, but because you were genuinely interested. That curiosity is still there. It hasn't disappeared. So the question isn't, how do we become curious? The question is, when did we stop feeling the curiosity we already had? Because to me, that is what true another lens truly means. Every breakthrough in human history began not with certainty, but with curiosity. We began with a rhyme about stars. Now, I want to end with a fact on them. The light you see when you look at a star, it travels hundreds, maybe thousands of kilometers. That star may not exist anymore, but it still travels towards us, still reaches us, still makes us wonder. Now that's what a good question does. It travels further than you would have ever expected. So, ask yours. Send yours out into the world. Because one day, long after you're gone, someone might look up and wonder. Thank you.